Okay, everyone. So here we are at the Beauty Outlaw podcast. And you know that my heart lives with an esthetician because I am a licensed esthetician. And this is my third episode in this series called Esthetician Diaries. And I am honored and thrilled to bring to you a local girl that works right here in Orange County, California. She has been an esthetician for 12 years. And I'm going to learn a lot about her today. Her name is Avery, and you're going to love this. Avery Queen. And you'd think it might be fake, but it's not. That's her name. And welcome to the show, Avery.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So happy that you could be here. So where I want to go first is when we start out. I know that you've been local, and I don't know much about Avery, which is what I like to know is nothing, because I want to be a listener too and learn about your journey. So start way back where you grew up, what got you interested in this, and what your life looks like now, what you do. Do you have a family? The whole thing.
Absolutely.
I'm ready to listen.
Yes. So I've always had a passion for actually the makeup industry. So I started as a makeup artist. I was at the Nordstrom Fashion Island, and I just loved my clients. I loved the artwork, and I quickly grew into the skincare industry. They obviously have both things. They have skincare and they have makeup. And as I was doing makeup application, I was noticing that I would want the skin to look better. So I decided to go back to aesthetic school and learn more about the skin and continue to be a makeup artist. And I quickly fell in love with the skincare industry, and I transitioned. So I did makeup for a little bit during, but I prefer to actually work on the skin. So
Where did you grow up? Here?
here in Orange County, yes.
You're an Orange County local.
Orange County native, born and raised.
Did you have to go back to school because of regulations with the Board of Cosmetology that they make you? Because there was a time when you could work for Neiman Marcus or you could work at Lancome counter and do makeup, and then they pulled that away. Were you after that time?
I was after that time.
Okay.
So I did have to go for the full, I believe it was 600 hours in California. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then did you keep doing makeup?
I did makeup for maybe about another year, and I really wanted to just step into the skincare industry. I actually didn't plan on being an esthetician full time. I went strictly to just have more education on the skin and continue to work as a makeup artist. But I quickly found that my passions were the skin. And as you know, if our skin isn't prepped right, the makeup doesn't even go on correctly.
Yes. The makeup is just the icing on the cake.
Absolutely.
The
skin
base
is the foundation.
the base is what's important. So how did you start from there? What school did you go to?
I researched schools, and it wasn't the price that got me because I was willing to go anywhere. I was actually looking for who had the highest state board passing rates. And at the time, it was Golden West College, and I still believe it is. And wow, I had one of the best instructors, and she was so passionate about this industry. And that's really what drew me in to just stay in aesthetics. And of course, I will do makeup on the side for weddings, but it's really for family, sisters, close friends. But yeah.
Golden West is in Huntington Beach.
It is.
Are they still around?
They are still around.
That's great.
And they have a great nursing program there as well.
They have a full, they do hair, they teach hair, cosmetology.
Full on
everything.
cosmetology, yes. And I decided to stick with the skin.
So what year did you graduate then? Do you remember when you got your license?
It was 2013. So I've been licensed since 2013.
So how did you launch after that?
Well, I think in this industry, you really have to play around and see what you like. So I went from luxury spas like Burke Williams here in Mission Viejo. I even tried Massage Envy, just little spas. And I found that, yes, I do love the luxury of that, but the med spas was where I really found my joy. I felt like I could learn more, and I was actually able to work with some pretty amazing doctors.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes.
Because the scope is the same when you work in a med spa. A lot of people are confused. They think they have more access.
Yes.
And they may have more access to the products that are on their counter, but they have zero access to a bigger scope of practice. So I know I want to speak to this because a lot of people reach out to me and they actually get in trouble because they think they can do more because they're working in a medical spa when really you are independent outside of that. You're as strong outside of that as you are inside of that.
Absolutely.
Where do you think the access was for you, the difference?
Yes. So at the time, estheticians were actually not allowed to dermaplane without a doctor's supervision or a medical director.
And let me correct.
Yes.
I don't mean to cut you off, but we're all about misinformation. You were not allowed to do it, even working for a doctor.
Okay.
But a lot of estheticians didn't know that, and
Yes.
a lot of them got in trouble for that.
Yes.
So keep going. I'm just
Yes.
trying to clear stuff up here for,
Thank you for
those
that.
California nurses that thought estheticians that thought they were able to do that.
Absolutely.
So
I followed the rules of the med spa.
Of
so
course
at
you
the
did.
time, yes. And I think just being around, I was around plastic surgeons. I actually worked for Zio Skin Health, Fashion Island. And that
Okay.
really changed my perspective on products and educated me on different procedures. So when I was given patients, I would recommend different procedures such as Clear and Brilliant or fillers or, you know, I would make those introductions to the doctors. And I do have a background in sales as well, but I have to love what I'm doing. I have to love what I'm selling. And I absolutely loved the industry. So I got to live both worlds. It was a little bit more social in a med spa where we're talking a little bit more, where when you're in more of a environment like a Berg Williams, let's say,
Right.
it's more peaceful, it's more zen. I actually love the middle. I like a little bit of both. I love giving that zen treatment, but I also do like when the clients are speaking to me and asking me for recommendations.
you loved what I'm hearing being in a med spa is you could collaborate
Yes,
and keep your patient there
Yes.
with you. You could send them to somebody who you trusted to do a laser procedure or filler and kind of have your hands on it a little bit.
Absolutely. And I really worked with some of the best doctors, in my opinion, in Orange County. I even got to work side by side with Dr. Obagi at times. His daughter, Serena Obagi, I believe she just went back and she's an NP now. And just working with these very educated people just really inspired me. So I love being in that environment, and I still keep in touch with these doctors to this day. Dr. Molds, he's absolutely amazing. He had just finished a CO2 and a blue peel on Tamara Judge, OC Housewives, and they work closely with each other. So having these relationships is just so amazing. It's so inspiring, and I love to nurture those as well.
When you decided to, well, let's stay in the med spa world.
Yeah.
How does that look? Is that a commission type base, or are you paid a paycheck? How does that work? You're allowed to be independent and rent space. How does the med spa work here in Orange County?
So there is this fine line with the med spa, like you said, with products and everything. I don't work under a medical director right now. I have my own space that I rent. Now, I do use great products, but there are certain things that I cannot do independently on my own. Like, I can't microneedle. I think you can correct me if I'm wrong. I was just reading up on state board policies. I think as estheticians, you can go at a 0.25 depth.
We're trying to get that to happen. That does
Okay.
not exist. We're
Okay.
not allowed to microneedle, just like we weren't allowed to
Yes.
dermaplane. And
Yes.
that happened. There is a significant human being that made that happen. She's a female that really pushed for that independence, which is amazing. And lash lifts and lash tinting, that was taken away as well and given back.
Yes.
So now you have those freedoms, and eventually I think we will be able to push that through. But as of right now,
Yes.
you're not allowed to touch a microneedling device in the state of California, which is wrong.
Yes.
And it should change. And
There's so
that's-
much back and forth.
There is.
And I don't microneedle at all. I actually, what I use in placement for that is, do you know the Regenerate pen,
Yes.
the Nano?
Yes.
That's what I use to infuse
And a lot of
serums.
girls do that.
Yes, and that's safe for me. I know that my patients, my clients are going to leave happy, hydrated.
It's a great treatment.
Absolutely. And I'm so grateful that we have that treatment as estheticians, because I feel like I get great results as well.
You do.
Yes.
I've seen it in here. Our esthetician uses it, and it's a fabulous treatment. And we're really going to push for this in California. I want to be part of it because there are things through certifications that I think should be able to be put in the hands of estheticians, especially qualified estheticians, or if you're working within a medical spa that you should be able to do. But as of right now, they've really got our hands tied.
Yes.
How do you feel about that? Because I have my own opinion of esthetician school, and you don't get a lot out of it. You get enough to get your boards, and you get a good bird's eye view of what the industry looks like, but you don't get advanced training. What do you think about that?
I agree. I think when you're in esthetician school, you are learning cleanliness, the diseases that can easily be contracted, and I'm so grateful for that. But you really get your experience in a med spa or like a luxury spa, and I'm actually okay with that. I do wish that there was more education focused on estheticians.
Yeah.
But that's another reason why I did love being in a med spa, because I got to actually see what is going on. And personally, I'm okay with the rules right now in California. I never want to overstep my boundaries, and I'm not a nurse. You know, I am an esthetician, and there's certain things that I can do, but I also want to make sure that my patients are safe. So I want to hand off anything that is so invasive over to a nurse, and I love to collaborate with nurses and doctors as well and recommend them out. I will never overstep what is past my capacity.
And I love that you really like being in your scope of practice and you make a huge difference. That's one thing I think estheticians don't realize. They think they have to be able to move forward and do these other modalities, chemical peels, deep microneedling. And really, they have so much access through their license to change the foundation of somebody's skin. It is amazing. Everybody needs a good esthetician.
Absolutely. I'm working with a nurse right now, and we're just trading services.
Love it.
And she's doing obviously lasers and fillers and Botox, but she really wanted a good facialist. And of course, I want a good nurse as well to help me with lasers. So there really is a need for it. And like I said, I never want to overstep. I love recommending out, and I love it when nurses and doctors recommend to me as well. It's such an honor.
I like that you're independent. That's very rare. So we were talking before the podcast, and here in Southern California, which is different than other states have different scopes of practice. But in California, especially Southern California, you don't see a lot of independent estheticians anymore. They've been kind of bought up by all these med spas, and they work there, which is not a horrible thing, but they also, everything they do in the med spa, they can do independently. So I really encourage them to go out on their own. And it's hard to find independent estheticians. So when did you decide, and how did it look when you broke free and did your own thing? Did a door open? What happened?
Yes. Well, last year was a very hard year for me. I had gone through divorce.
Okay.
And a very, very big transition. Now, before that, I worked for Zio Skin Health. And like I said, I was with amazing doctors. I got to work with Dr. Obagi as well. The thing with me is I love to grow. So once I hit a capacity where I'm done growing, I have to move on. And yes, I could have stayed there for years and I would have been happy as well, but I know that there's more for me, even if that means managing myself and understanding what that means as a business owner. So I took a leap of faith and
Love this.
Yes. Probably the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. And it's still, but
Growth is scary.
growth is so scary, but it is so rewarding. And I encourage any esthetician who is thinking about it. And it took me a few years to get to that point, but I knew once I hit that point, I knew it was time for me to launch. So I took a leap of faith. I looked at product lines that I loved. it's such a funny story. I went on Indeed, and I was just looking, found someone who was looking for a renter. I took the opportunity and just did it. I couldn't look back. I couldn't think about it too much. I started buying my equipment, all the main things that I would need. And that's really what it's been. I've been slowly bringing in.
That's the entrepreneurial brain and,
Yes.
and the drive right there. You
Yes.
just sometimes have to hold your breath and dive in.
Oh, I'm holding my breath, and I am trusting in God right now that it's all going to work out. And you know what? It really does. When you have that passion and that drive, it will work out. So just do it. That's my opinion. And it's sometimes easier said than done. Of course, you want to have a little bit of money saved, and but you can also you never. I'm learning a lot through this process. We're going through a season right now where I'm seeing everyone is getting sick. So you've got to count on, canceled appointments and
Back to school.
Back to school. It's just starting to pick up again. Where, in the summer,
We're getting it back.
junior lifeguards and there's camps. So now moms are having time to come in and see me. So you've got to plan for these things. And I hustle. I hustle on Instagram, and I need to get better at that because, when you're building a business, your hands are in so many different places, but just focus.
How do you hustle, and how did it look when you left the med spa? How were you able to make that exit polite, kind, and keep a relationship?
Yes, well, it wasn't easy for me because I was in a very stable position. I had a very large clientele as well, repeat clients, and they're fed to me. So people, they know who Zio Skin Health is. They're one of the biggest in the world right now. Dr. Abaji is amazing, and I'm so blessed to have worked in that environment. So it was not easy for me to leave. That was a tough decision. So like I said, the divorce really pushed me and changed my mind on a lot of different things. But just refocusing and keeping those relationships with people in the industry. And some people, of course, they don't want to lose an esthetician that's already got a big following, and you never want to lose your patients as well. No. But I'm really not competing with Zio Skin Health because they're branded in a certain way, and they've got their clients. So I just bring that expertise with me to my spot that I rent, and I'm building off referrals, word of mouth, recommendations, and that's how I'm rebuilding. And people love that I have that background, the medical, background, I guess you would say, and it really has to do with a lot of personality and building their relationships. So that's how I'm building right now. Did I answer? I know there's something else.
You did. And in California, another thing I'd like to share with estheticians, there is no non-compete agreements that you have to sign. You're not forced by that. You're allowed to make a livelihood if you leave a facility. You're not allowed to steal clients outright, but they're allowed to come see you without you having to worry about being sued and that kind of thing. In other states, it's different, but in California, although if you work for a med spa, they own the patient. That is their client. They own the chart. They own the patient. So you're not allowed to take the information at all with you to market to that client. But clients can find you, and they do. And if you end well in a great relationship, you're going to have a med spa or a facility share, oh, she went here, she opened up her own place. It sounds like it's kind of what you did. You like to keep your relationships, and that's a big value to you, and you speak highly of the company you worked for.
Absolutely. And I still refer people to Zio Skin Health. I still speak so highly of the doctors that I worked with, and I recommend Dr. Abaji's products to this very day. And people laugh because I started just a small line, just a couple products, but I will always refer out to Zio Skin Health because that was my foundation, and he taught me everything about skin health. So I respect that company so much, and I forever will use his products alongside mine.
They're a company that picked up and changed the way they did things too. They sold back in the old days when I used to train physicians go around Orange County and train physicians to do the Abaji Blue Peel back in 1996 when they were new derm. And that product was an amazing product, and it sold. And he had many years he had to wait, and they've reestablished themselves at even a higher level. They've grown even bigger than one could imagine, and they've really got a leverage on the market right now when it comes to medical skincare. And can you use it? You can use the product, or do you have to have a medical director to have it?
To buy the product and sell it, yes, you do.
What I thought.
Now, obviously, working there, I stocked up anytime I could buy. I must have 50 exfoliating polishes. I'm never going to run out. But I do have doctor friends where I can buy from them as well. And I will still buy it full price because I love to use the scrub in my treatment room with my clients. I swear by it. It is the best. It's changed the texture of my skin. So I will always use, at least their cleansers and polishes in my room.
What are you using now? What did you transition to?
So I did a lot of research on different brands, and obviously working, with Abaji, he's my favorite. But because I don't have access quite yet, I don't have a medical director quite yet, it just doesn't make sense for me to pay the fee.
Yeah.
I love this brand called Mad. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
I have.
They are amazing. Their peels are amazing. I see great results with them, and you really can't hurt anyone with those peels as well. So that's something that I love.
Are they a layering type of peel where you're using different strengths of TCA, low strengths of TCA, almost like a low strength Jesner type of layering peel?
Absolutely. So I get to mix them. And then also they have amazing masks as well. One of their masks, it's a glycolic mask. I think I use that on every single person, no matter who you are, because it just leaves your skin so hydrated and glowing. That's like my secret sauce, is that glycolic mask.
How are you marketing yourself? Is it only Instagram, or are you doing something else? Are you beating down people's doors? Door to door?
Funny. This is something that I really need help with, and I think a lot of estheticians need that help as well. And that's something that I'm really looking for, someone to really help me market myself. Right now, I am surviving on word of mouth and referrals.
It's the only way to go, baby.
Yes.
It's the best source of business right there.
Yes, marketing is not my background, but sales is. And I think me just having relationships with my clients, they do such a great job referring me out. I don't even ask, which I should ask more often.
So you don't do a referral give back program, or do you have any suggestions for anyone else?
When they do come back and visit me, it's 10 to 15% off depending on the month if I do a monthly special. Regardless, every single time they come back. But if they do refer, I do like to give a nice 20% off incentive because I love having those clients. Yes.
That's wonderful. That's a great give back.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I'm so appreciative too.
But loyalty is everything.
Absolutely.
So keeping your patients happy and coming back. Is there anything besides that have you gotten anything from Instagram? Or do you feel like that's more of a website for you?
Instagram is actually really great. My clients see my new services that I'm launching, and that's a way for me to stay relevant. I should be a little bit better. I'm building my following. I obviously have a personal page and a business page, but I should be a little bit more active. I just did a photo shoot this past weekend with my Regenerate pen, just different products that I'm using, Dermaplane Pro. So I'm gonna be a little bit more active now, and just post more tailored content. I like to post content, whether it be skincare or gut health, because obviously gut health is huge right now. I just like to stay relevant, but Instagram has been great.
Hi, everybody. This episode is sponsored by Pretty Girl Cosmeceuticals. These products are the best. If you're not using them, you need to use them. You can contact JKH Aesthetics anytime, and we will give you a consultation about how to use these amazing products. We have Glow Girl and Ice Drops. These will keep you young, healthy, and glowing every day of the week. And now, back to the episode. You do anything else besides skincare? Do you sell anything more? Are you into wellness at all? What other modalities do you use?
Yes, I'm very into wellness. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of, Kangen water or ionized water. I love using ionized water in my room. really the 6.0 is what I use for the face. So whenever
Okay.
I'm cleansing, I will use 6.0.
She's talking about the pH scale,
Yes,
correct?
the pH scale.
Yeah, the pH of water.
Yes.
To cleanse the face, you're using a 6.0?
Yes, yes. So I like to use a balanced water for the face. So I'm not using sink water or bottled. I'm really big in water. So putting it on the skin, consuming it, I think water is very important. So
We are all water.
we are all water, absolutely. And when my clients leave the room, I like to send them off with 9.5 pH restructured water, so they're being hydrated on a cellular level. And there is a lot of lymphatic massage in there. So when they're detoxing, I want them to leave feeling good. And it depends on the person. Sometimes people can feel nauseous after a back facial because there's a lot of movement there. So I want to make sure whoever is leaving my room is very well hydrated. So I'm not very active in selling the machine, but I love it so much that it has to be in my room and it has to be in my home. So that's all I drink.
That's great.
Yes.
That's if nobody's checked out that water system. It's next level. It really is. They've been around a long time.
Yes.
Boy, you can do all kinds of great things with the different pH scale of the water. You can put that on. You can clean your bathroom and keep mold from building up in the
Goodness, yes.
shower. I mean, there's amazing things you can do with that. Now that we're doing an infomercial for them. But if you're interested in that, you can always reach out to you
Absolutely.
and find out more about it. Take us into your treatment room. What does that look like? Behind the door, you have a new patient. I come in, I fill out my paperwork.
Yes.
And what does that look like for me?
Yes, so I bring my clients in. I like to take a minute to get to know them. Obviously, their skin, anything that they're allergic to. And I think, too, as an esthetician, most of us are very empathetic. We're feelers, and we can automatically tell, at least I can, who wants to chat, who wants a silent treatment, and who wants to open up. So I try to get that feel for that client once they get into my room.
That's the secret sauce to success. That's why some people can't make it happen.
Yes.
You just explained it. Do you guys hear that, estheticians? What she just said? She feels the energy. She knows what they need emotionally the minute they hit her door. Now, when they come in, do you have them put a robe on? How does that look? Or are they in regular clothes?
They are in regular clothes, and I do have them remove everything from top up. I step out to give them privacy, and they cover themselves. Because I'm such a small business right now, that would be so much laundry to robe them.
Oh.
Now, I do have robes if they do have
That's
to
a
leave.
good tip. Did you hear that? That's a very good tip.
Yes.
She's trying to keep costs down, and this is how she's doing it. Because laundry is expensive.
Yes.
And it also takes away from the time you can invest in your social media page.
Absolutely. And I've never had a problem with someone getting into the bed that way. And of course I leave the room, I give them their privacy, I let them cover up. And then I come into the room. I use a lot of aromatherapy. There is a doctor in Marina Del Rey, Dr. Schulz's. He does everything from gut health to air detox. So I use his oils because it's organic and I love organic. So the room is already prepped with eucalyptus, grapefruit, lime, just really good smells.
So their senses are relaxing and opening
mine
up.
too. I need to be relaxed when I walk in.
Taking
I can't
a
just
lot of
run
energy in.
Yes, I have to get there at least 30 minutes prior to just zen out so I can give my full attention to this client.
Tip number 2, everyone. Get to work early.
Yes.
Prepare yourself for your day. I love
Yes.
that. I love that.
And
Keep
you
going.
also don't know if your machine is going to be acting up. And I've had that issue before, and I've learned the hard way. Oh my goodness, the suction isn't flowing. And then you have to switch the facial. And that's not a way that I want to start my facial or my day. It throws you off the entire day. So just making sure I'm prepped, I'm ready, I have everything that I need for this client. And timing. I'm really good with my timing. And I'm the type of person I love to give my clients a little bit of extra time if I can. Obviously, I'm focusing on what they need, and some people might need more extractions. But someone who maybe has, less work to do, I will go the extra mile and bring in that luxury in. I'll give them an arm massage, a décolleté, a foot massage, whatever I can do to make this client happy.
To give them their full experience and time with you.
Yes, yes.
So you make sure you're there early.
Yes, absolutely.
Prepare yourself because you have a business.
Yes.
What about you said you're timely. I think that's tip number 3.
Yes.
Take your patients on time.
Yes.
What do you do when a patient is running late? How do you handle that?
Well, I actually just had this happen, and patients are funny. Sometimes they think that they can get the full treatment, and yes, if I'm rushing with them. But here's the thing, being a small business, and everyone has a different opinion on this, I understand that life happens and people need to reschedule. I had someone come in and gave me 40 minutes when it should have taken me an hour and a half with her. And I had told her, I would rather reschedule you and give you a full treatment than for me to rush through this. And it's not fun for me either. Mm-mm. So she gladly accepted that. She saw me 2 weeks later after her vacation, and we had a great session. But that's on me as well. That's, I want people to see me as being
it's your
caring.
standard of care.
Absolutely. And I give them the option. If they absolutely no, then yes, I will do it for you. But I want them to know this is going to have to be cut short because I have someone right after you. But if you want the full experience, come back. I'm happy to help you. So, and it's really, people like to be on time. They want their time. But it happens. And I understand that life happens. And I want people to have the same grace with me in life. So I try to see it from that perspective.
When it comes to products, how do you handle that? Do you have packages you put together for the patient or the client? Do you write that down for them? They take it home? Do you sell outside your room or in the bedside? How does that look for you? Because you said you're into sales.
Yes.
And you're not afraid of it.
Yes.
Which benefits only the patient that you're not afraid. By the way, for those of you that are afraid to sell, you're not benefiting your patient because you need to sell them something. They've come to you for your expertise. So don't be afraid anymore. Sell products. So how does that look for you?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm just now starting to bring retail into my room. I was really stuck on just wanting to have Zeo Skin Health because, again, they are my favorite. I learned the best from them.
You were mourning.
Yes. So the funny thing is, I actually have been writing products down for these patients to what I would recommend that they should get from Zeo Skin Health. So I have good relationships outside of my room. But I have noticed that a lot of your sales come in from retail. And that's one spot that I've learned that I needed to grow in, is to not be afraid and to learn how to bring retail into my room. So I actually worked for a private label company last year for a very short period of time. And they also owned a microneedling device, Collagen Pen, which is an amazing pen. So I'm developing a few products with them right now, and I've already launched them. I have a cleanser and a spot treatment. So those are 2 things I'm starting with. And I'm bringing a few more things in as well for melasma and different items. But as of now,
you're feeling your space.
I'm feeling the space. And I think because last year was so hectic and crazy for me, I didn't want to overextend myself. So now I am seeing I'm missing out. I need to bring products into this room, and I'm gypping my clients by not having them here. So instead of referring them out online or to different spas, I'm noticing I need to bring more things into my room. So I'm doing that right now.
I think that is great. So far, I just think you've helped so many people that are listening to this podcast now that are either at a crossroad, stuck. Estheticians are very, very successful. I would call them successful estheticians in their room, behind, on their beds. They have the touch. They can take in the energy. They know how to treat the skin mechanically with their hands, but they lack that sense of confidence to sell what the patient needs. And my goal is to get them out of that comfort zone and know that is part of their treatment.
Yes.
Is sales.
Yes.
And giving your patient what you need. And I like that you're starting slow.
Yes.
You kind of found some things you love. You're having them put together for your patients. And you're a new business, and your patients will grow with you. It's going to be exciting for you.
Yes. And that was when you are opening or deciding to go off on your own, there's so many things that you have to think of. It's marketing, it's products, it's services, it's putting money into your business. And that was one fear that I had to let go of, was, oh my gosh, I've got to, apply for a seller's permit. How do I even do that? And these things stack up and you let them get a hold of you. And I've learned, don't self-sabotage. Just do it. And learn as you go, but you have to do it.
What about an establishment license?
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Super important. I tell physicians this all the time. If you have an esthetician and you are doing skincare treatments, you must have an establishment license from the Board of Barbering and Cosmetology. So that's your tip number 3.
Absolutely.
Get your licensure together and posted appropriately.
Yes.
What is the craziest client interaction you've ever had? Have you had something happen that threw you for a loop?
Yes, not in my own space, but maybe at a med spa. And it was more, this patient actually should have been on maybe medications or for the skin. She didn't want to see a doctor. She didn't want to see a dermatologist or a nurse. She just wanted facials. But clearly, there was a lot going on with skin disease, as what Dr. Baji would call it. Anything that is acne, and he doesn't want to offend anyone, but that is just the scientific term. It is a skin disease. Way too much going on there. And I had to refer her out and tell her that, again, this is beyond my scope, and I don't want to hurt you. So this client did get upset with me, but I need to protect myself, and I need to protect the establishment as well. I'm the one who is in charge. I'm the one in that room. And sometimes you have to make hard decisions. And you obviously have to be kind to the client, tell them why. But I also had to tell her that I needed her to see a derm if she wanted to continue seeing me, because I don't want to spread this everywhere. I don't want to, it would be on me at that point, because I need to make good judgment with this client.
And you did.
Yes.
You did. It's not always easy.
It's not. And of course I contacted management to understand the situation, let them know what I was dealing with, because she kept coming back to me. But sometimes, even as an esthetician, you can get frustrated because you want to heal these people. But sometimes,
Fix her.
most of the times, it's beyond your scope when it's on a cystic level. So you've got to know when to pass those people on, and gracefully, and to let them know as well that this is for your benefit. I want to make sure that you are healing correctly, and then come see me. So that might be, one of the craziest things, and it comes from a compassionate place too, because, my sister has cystic acne, and I have done everything I can to help her, and a lot of it went back to gut health, but I also have to refer out to, whether she wants to go to more homeopathic or, the Accutane route. That's a personal decision for them. But I know you need to know when to stop.
Yes. What do you think about the young kids and TikTok and social media getting their advice for skincare? If we could speak to our tweens right now.
Yes. I feel like they're doing too much and they're stripping their barriers. I think they need to keep it simple, a simple cleanse, a simple exfoliant, even a sulfur mask. A lot of teens are dealing with acne and congested skin. But, there is a fine line, and, obviously you have to go by a doctor's recommendation when they want to start on tretinoin or other acids. So I do see a lot of that and a lot of stripped barriers. So parents need to be aware of this as well, to not just let them,
take your credit card and go into Sephora and buy whatever they want, or online.
Yeah.
Acne, I've never seen it the way, I've been in the industry over 30 years. It used to be a teenage, young adult issue. It is now all ages. It is a skin disease, and it does come from what we eat, our environment, and our foods. And we're not helping it out by what you're saying to the young girls that aspire to do all things beauty, which I think is awesome that they're into it and they think it's great, is keep it simple.
Yes.
Don't believe everything you see. Don't try everything you see. especially on TikTok.
Yeah.
What is your favorite service that you offer and that patients love or clients love?
So my facials are a little bit different. I actually had a client yesterday book a hydrofacial, and when she came in, she clearly needed more exfoliation. She needed a dermaplane. So because I'm a small business, I think it's important to give a little. And I recommended a dermaplane service to this client because it's what she needed. And I had to explain to her, that she's going to absorb products better. We're going to be able to treat you better. So I actually gifted her the dermaplane, and oh my goodness, I was obsessed with how it looked. So dermaplane, yes, that's my favorite service because you can add it to anything. But that client is coming back to me now. She loved that I offered a service to her without, and again, I understand different financial obligations, but to me, to spend a couple more dollars and I had the time, why wouldn't I give myself to this client? And I truly care about their skin. So it's not about necessarily the money. Yes, we need to pay our bills.
It was your time.
Yes, it was. Yes, exactly.
A lot of that was your time, even though those services do cost you money.
Yes.
You also looked at it as, wow, I have the time.
I have the time. Yes.
And I'm going to do something that this client will return.
Yes, and she booked her next appointment in that moment because she knew I cared. Dermaplane is my favorite service. It can, you can add that onto anything, mostly depending on their skin type. But I'm really loving this Regenerate pen as well. I think it's great to add on. All my facials are customized. I may even throw in the hydrofacial just on the nose area. If the client booked like more of a European style, but they're super congested, I don't want to damage, the skin and be poking at them too much. I want to soften the skin and be able to do extractions better. So be open to even popping the hydrofacial on the cleansing part for 2 minutes. Extend yourself a little bit more. Show these clients that you care and have them come back into your door.
When you treat the patient, do you keep it in that calm, peaceful place where the lights are a little dimmer? Is it your typical kind of a spa environment where they feel kind of zenned out, but yet you're getting to business on their face?
Yes, I have such a good balance in there. It's not super bright, but it's not dark. I have it really at a medium tone so that they are able to relax. I don't have your typical like zen spa unless someone asks about it, but I have more of a loungy music vibe in there, and that's really what I had at Zio Skin Health too, and I loved it. The clients loved it as well. So I'd like to have a little bit of a balance in there, and it keeps me awake as well.
What's your age demographic, would you say?
My best clients who are in regularly are really in their 40s, 50s, 60s. And I do have, obviously people in their 20s, 30s, but a big bulk of them, I'm in Newport Beach, so a big bulk of them are moms or grandmas, and they're my best clients.
Are they more of a natural type of client, or do they partake in all the modalities?
They like to partake, and I'm in the middle. I like it to work, but I also am conscious of what I'm using on them.
That's great. That's great. Avery, if you had advice to give the new esthetician or somebody considering going to esthetician school, what would that advice be?
I would say to get a good mentor, someone who is passionate about the industry as well. I love it when estheticians reach out to me. I will let them pick my brain. I am in this mentality where there's enough for everyone, and I don't like to hoard that information. I actually think I get so much more out of it. And if I can recommend to an esthetician, yes, find a good mentor, find a good school. Like I said, I looked for the best state board passing rate. Make sure you can afford it as well. Golden West, I think it was around, at the time, $3,000, where Paul Mitchell would have been like 10. So don't think you have to go to a big school, right?
They kind of are. That's another thing. Just get your license.
Yes.
And look, I love that tip. Go with somebody with a high passing rate. And what that means is pretty much if you study, you can pass the boards. But what it means is they kept their people engaged in school.
Absolutely.
And made them excited about going to school, and they finished the program. because a lot of schools will take you through. It's super boring. In fact, I don't even know. What do you think about this whole transition to it's all online?
I don't like it. I think it's very important to be in person. Yeah.
I mean, we are a connection.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like, how could you teach hair without doing that in person?
Exactly.
Skin is so important, contact, touch. And now they're taking the NCLEX test online only.
Yes.
It was not NCLEX, I'm sorry, that's nursing.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Your board of your board
I know exactly
to
what you're
get your
saying. Yes.
esthetician license, which is through the Board of Barbering and Cosmetology. They're taking it online, and it used to be a hands-on test as well as a actual theory test. I don't know, board. I think you might have. I think if we hire this level back to where it should be, and we could actually increase a little bit of the scope of an esthetician, and maybe even think about the fact that we've given all these modalities like eyelash tinting, like dermaplaning, but we've dummied down the certificate. That's a recipe for problems. And what that's a recipe for, I feel, is that's a recipe to lose the ability to be able to do these things.
Yes.
So I think we're going to have to level that up a little bit and get your education, and then find a mentor or an outside school, or go work for someone else, right?
Yes. I learned everything just by being in a med spa, a luxury spa. That's where I learned. You want to pass your state boards and get all that out of the way, but find a company, a business that you resonate with. And you may not even know. It took me a few years to understand where I wanted to be in this space.
Burke Williams is
Yes.
one of them, especially if you really are, like you said, that side that's more peaceful and giving and nurturing. That is a great place to start working. And they teach and educate there as well.
Absolutely. They have a very rigorous course. I was driving to Inglewood, I believe, every single day for, I don't even remember how many weeks, but they're very hands-on. So I learned so much from them as well. To this day, what I do in my treatment room, I use parts of Burke William in there. I use parts of Zeo Skin Health. So it's, you want to be well-rounded, and clients notice that. They love both parts of that. So yeah, work in different spaces. Don't feel like you have to stay somewhere for years. When you feel within yourself that you've reached your capacity, even with me at Zeo Skin Health, they're the best in the world to me. But I decided it was time for me to move forward and start managing myself.
You took the next step.
Yes.
Avery, how do we find you? How does all these wonderful people find you? Tell us how we find you.
So I'm working on a website right now. I'm still gathering things. I just took photos yesterday, but I think Instagram is the best way to find me. And again, Avery Queen, Averi Queen, or Salt Light Beauty Official.
Okay.
That's my business.
And we will have you down on the show notes. We will highlight you there so people can find you if they're interested in having your treatments and watching you grow. I'm excited for you. I have a new colleague, a new friend. So I'm excited. See, that's the thing. We shouldn't be afraid to be a community of estheticians and work together. I have 3 other estheticians here, and they all bond and love each other and care about each other. We are hidden behind doors, and we try to think that's how we have to continue. That is not true. There's plenty of business for so many of us, and reach out to people. They can be your mentors. Sometimes they'll answer advice with a quick phone call. You don't necessarily have to pay for it, but when you're serious about business, you got to be serious, and there might be things you have to invest in and pay for, but it's a pleasure to have you on the show today. I think you've been able to shed some light and give good advice to upcoming estheticians and people that are struggling right now.
Absolutely.
Before I have you leave, though, I want you to shed some light. I always ask this from everybody. How did COVID go over for you?
Oh, wow. So COVID actually went very well for me. It was like a God thing for me. I stepped into Zeo Skin Health right in the middle of COVID. And we were not able to perform services during that time, but I was doing retail sales for them until we were able to. They took me under their wing
During that time.
And there were 300 applicants for Fashion Island store. And this should be an inspiration to other estheticians. At that time, I was never in a med spa. I didn't even think I was qualified. I didn't almost go to the interview because I felt unqualified.
Mm-hmm.
And what management had told me was, although we have 300 applicants, you are the one that we feel that we can mold. You are the one that we all get along with, and we are willing to train you.
That's pretty special. Doesn't that build you up too?
Oh, it really
It's so
did.
empowering to hear that other people
Yes.
believe in you
Yes.
and see something that you didn't see about yourself.
Absolutely, yes. So I always tell people, just go for it. You never know who you're going to meet, who's going to inspire you, how that person is going to change your life. My life was completely changed by taking a risk.
Oh, that's great. So COVID ended up business-wise being good for you.
Absolutely. Just stay in a positive mindset about everything, and even the negative that comes at you. What can you learn from this? How can this make you grow?
Yep.
And you would be shocked at the opportunities that come out of the worst situations.
Yeah. This industry really grew during this time. And it was also a hard time for the girls that were not able to work. Medical went back sooner. But my girls here had to wait almost a year.
Yeah.
About 7-8 months. It was quite a treacherous time for them. But medically, we got to open sooner. For all of you that don't know how COVID went down for California, it was a tough time for estheticians and hairdressers. And it was kind of a shameful time. I don't think we should have approached that. That's my opinion. But I love hearing a positive story. It was positive for me business-wise. So thank you, Avery, for being here. Now we end the show with a toast. Charlotte's got it ready over here. This is Charlotte, everybody. You probably saw her on one of my podcasts. Anyways, thank you, Avery. Cheers to both of us. A new friendship and new referral and collabing.
Yes, absolutely.
This is great. So another resource I gained
I cannot wait to
through
come
my
back.
podcast.
Yes.
I love this.
Invite me back.
Thanks, Avery.
Thank you so much.
Chin chin.
Cheers.
Peace out. See you next time on The Beauty Outlaw.